What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Uncle Tony Tuesdays. We miss you guys. Uncle Tony's in the house as usual, ready to kick it pretty hard on a few people who are rather deserving. So thank y'all for joining us tonight. Please hit that share button, hit that like button, drop us a comment, let us know where you're watching from. We do love to hear, especially people so far away. It's almost a contest to see how far around the world it can get. So drop us a line. We'd love to hear from you guys.
How are you, everybody? This is Uncle Tony Redpill. Redpill Tuesdays right here. It's been a while since we've been able to touch base on my show. I've been doing some live stuff, as you all know, some scopes. I'm very, active on Twitter. I post some stuff on Facebook. And right now, I'm trying to go on my own page to see your comments. And Facebook's playing games. Do you all see us? Could you throw a comment out there so I could see if you all see me over here? Throw me a comment because my phone, it looks like it's freezing up over here. I just want to make sure because I want to see all your comments. Acknowledge all my fellow patriots. Trying to go on Twitter also so I could have people from Periscope to see all of you there. And it's not going through. I don't know why. Let's see.
Cindy, how you doing? Tobin, Manuel, thanks for joining us tonight, guys. We appreciate y'all.
What's going on? How are you, Cindy? What's up, Tobin? What's up, Manuel? How's everything? Just trying to get my own phone over here so I can see your comments this way. Let's see what we got over here. Have patience for a second.
Hate to give you guys dead air, but we'll be with you in just a minute.
Okay.
We'll be right back after these
messages. There you go. I got you. Koki, what's going on, Koki? Cheryl Young, what's going on? Please, everybody, share this. Got to spread the word. You know what's funny? Do me a favor. Go to President Trump's Twitter right there, and him. By the way, the reason we're late...
People are banging. We're being too loud.
The reason we're late is because, as usual, the MTA folks. Let me just tell you something. Forget little political differences. Forget all that. The Democrats ruin everything they touch. People got to be really psychotic to vote for Democrats. I mean, Democrats, because everything they touch turns to crap. Listen, people talk about Venezuela. Didn't Detroit go bankrupt a few years ago? Okay, and I'll never forget. When that happened in Detroit, you had a crippled African-American firefighter who had got injured and paralyzed on the job, and he was on disability pension. When Detroit went under, they were giving him pennies on the dollar on his pension. And he was on TV saying, I don't know what I'm going to do because I pay my mortgage. I rely on my pension to pay my mortgage, so I don't know what to do. And I'm watching that, and I was like heartbroken. I'm like, wow, man, if I was rich, I would have just paid this guy's mortgage off, for God's sake, But look at what they did in Detroit.
It's a tragedy.
Okay, that's horrible. And you know what? And I still don't know whatever happened with the guy because it was like a news thing that I seen, and then I never seen a follow-up on it. So, I mean, I hope somebody with money saw that and helped the guy. But so that's what the Democrats end up doing. You have a paralyzed firefighter that was going to lose most of his pension and maybe his house because of the Democrats' corruption and disgusting display of anti-Americanism, okay? So, and just look at what's going on in L.A., California, folks. Is it my imagination? The mainstream media is barely mentioning the fires in California. Millions of people with no electricity, this is a third world country. It's like a war going on there. And no one's really mentioning that. You know why? Because the Democrats caused that. So the Mockingbird media, who works for the Democrats, and they're all part of the same scheme, they're not mentioning that because they don't want to show that the Democrats are garbage and they're the lowest form of scum in the universe, okay? And let's just call them leftists, Bolsheviks, because that's what they are. They're commies, okay? This is who President Trump is up against. This is what the survival of our country's up against. You have a bunch of rat bastard commies that have taken over our country pretty much. And the only thing standing between them and total control is President Trump and the allies that he has. And that's the straight up truth. What do you all think about that? I think I'm absolutely right. And like I said, what I just said was factual. It's not my opinion. These are facts, okay? Just look at New York. The best years we had here was when we had Mayor Giuliani, who was a Republican, and Governor Pataki as governor. Our cost of living didn't go up at all. Taxes didn't go up at all for 8 years. Parking tickets didn't go up at all. Nothing went up.
Was that 20 years ago now, right? About?
That's about, he left in 2000 and the end of 2001. Yeah, because September 11th happened. He was still mayor. So the end of so it's about 18 years already. You know,
getting up there.
And then you had the globalist pig come in after him, Bloomberg, who was a Democrat, switched to Republican, then to Independent. Now, folks, you want to talk about a tyrant and a dictator? Mm-hmm. If this guy ever became president, which I hope that never happens, God forbid, this guy would be a dictator. This guy was trying to tell us what size sodas to drink. He quadrupled and probably even more property taxes, which caused rents to go up and everything to just go up. And even, think about it, if property taxes go up, even stores have to increase. The landlords have to increase the rent on the stores.
It ends up in
and
the
they got to increase the price of the food and everything you eat.
Bread and milk, man.
To sum that up, Bloomberg drastically increased our cost of living, big time. He tripled parking tickets. By parking tickets that were 50, were like 150 after him. You know, everything, fees, fines, you know, and to residential buildings. He did all these mandates, which caused, you know, the landlords to have to spend a lot of money, which, of course, they pass on to their tenants. Meanwhile, why isn't this being investigated with this globalist pig? When he became mayor of New York, he was worth, I think, a little under $3 billion. When he left, he was worth $23 billion.
That's quick.
And let me tell you, I'm very good at math. Mm-hmm. He was taking a $1 a year salary to try to brag, to say, oh, you know, I'm taking $1 a year salary. So 12 years, that's $12.
Meanwhile, on the back end.
But he increased his net worth by $20 billion. Because, believe me, folks, I'm on top of stuff, and including in New York. This guy, talk about quid pro quos. He did quid pro quos with all developers, with everything. It was all his people that developed here, built here, which I'm all for development, but it was an insider's club for him to do that. Plus, folks, he changed the law to become a third-term mayor because we only have a 2-term limit here. Now, in reality, if he was a good mayor, I wouldn't have not had a problem with that. They should go as far, you know, even further. But it's not. The only thing, if anything good, was that he still supported the police and was pretty strict on crime. But okay, you know, he increased our cost of living and priced a lot of people out. And he started the snowball of the cost of living in New York going up. So at least he still supported the police and crime, but garbage. You know what I mean? Besides that, and you know, de Blasio, cost of living's going up, and he's not supporting any police. He's for crime, disorder, chaos. He's a Bolshevik, de Blasio. Bloomberg's a freaking globalist pig. And not even that. Bloomberg does a lot of business with China. And you know what? Do me a favor, Annam. Mm-hmm. Could you go to my tweet where I tweet on my page and put in, it's a few days back, so instead of scrolling, maybe if you type in the word Bloomberg, because I put a video on, he was actually defending China. So if, God forbid, he ever got in, he would sell us out to China. So just type in because it's a few days back.
Okay. I got to load up some stuff, and then we'll search it. What is it, Bloomberg?
Yeah, just Bloomberg video. I should come up with that. It's only Bloomberg one I put. Yeah, look, right there, boom.
Right here.
Here, folks, check out this interview, and look at the interviewer. You got it, Adam?
Yeah, it's right here. Let's get the sound queued up.
So
give people more of an idea of the context for a second.
Yeah, well, the bottom line is in his interview, he's defending China. And have you all seen the videos? I don't even want to post them on my Twitter because they're disgusting. I don't even want that.
You take a band or something?
Well, no, because it's common knowledge, but it shows the protesters now in Hong Kong. The Chinese are just killing them.
Oh, it's insane. They're shooting them
They're
with real
shooting
bullets.
them point blank with real bullets.
And pistols. It's not even like they're far away. It's crazy.
So the Chinese communist over there, a ruthless bastard, they would have slaughtered everybody in Hong Kong already, but the world's watching, but they're doing it secretly now. Now they're picking off people slowly. And could you imagine how many they're kidnapping? You know, the commies are not a joke. So that's why all those people who defend China, LeBron, that bum, Queen LeBum James, I call him, sold your soul to China, you piece of crap. He made a few $100 million in this country. Is that enough? These people are greedy rats. They talk about big corporations. And look at LeBron, bro. The guy's worth tons of money, but yet he defends China. He went against the GM of the Rockets first, which I give credit to.
Who's from MIT?
Yeah.
The guy's from MIT. And he's like, he's uneducated.
Yeah.
Said the guy who barely graduated high school.
LeBron knows how to play basketball. That's it. He knows nothing else about nothing. He's a dirtbag, and I'm glad he got embarrassed. Yeah, let me tell you, the people in Hong Kong, a lot of people who ever know they hate LeBron. I love it how he got embarrassed.
Oh, yeah, no.
Okay, so listen to this video with this globalist. Yeah, but LeBron's selling his shoes in China, though, so there's a billion and a half people over there.
That's true. You got me there.
So
the bastard. He wins again.
That's why.
Accounts for about 15% of global greenhouse gas
emissions. Could you all hear
emissions.
this, folks?
China accounts for roughly 30% of greenhouse gas emissions. How do we, even if we get to net zero, and we're doing our part, how do you account and how do you get China, India, and the other countries to be good partners?
China is doing a lot. India is doing some, but I think that China is doing a lot. Yes, they're still building a bunch of coal-fired power plants.
And they're still burning coal.
Yes, they are. But they are now moving plants away from the cities. The Communist Party wants to stay in power in China, and they listen to the public. When the public says, I can't breathe the air, Xi Jinping is not a dictator. He has to satisfy his constituents, or he's not going to survive.
He's not a dictator?
No, he has a constituency to answer to.
He doesn't have a vote. He doesn't have a democracy.
That
he's
doesn't
not held
mean he can survive
by voters.
if his advisors gave him.
Is the check on him just a revolution?
You're not going to have a revolution. No government survives without the will of the majority of its people. Okay? The Chinese Communist Party looks at Russia, and they look for where the Communist Party is, and they don't find it anymore, and they don't want that to happen. So they really are responsive.
What a lying sack of crap.
Making changes. It would be better if China did more. If their people can go to their government and say, if America can do it, why can't we do it?
I mean, the idea that the Chinese government is responsive to sort of a democratic expression of
as if they just haven't thought of it yet.
Looking at the people in Hong Kong who are
this guy's
protesting,
That's crazy.
wondering whether the
Go
Chinese
back and
government
read
cares
this guy's
what they have to say.
Illuminati top level.
Big pollution in Beijing. And they're doing something about it.
I don't know if you guys have seen out there. He's talking about the pollution in Beijing. It's like fog permanently. It's like London fog all the time.
Now you all saw that. He's saying, oh, the country can't survive without the people being... No. With the communists, they slaughter you when you go against them. So what is this guy talking about? The people are not armed. And this guy's another punk. He's anti-Second Amendment, Bloomberg, big-time anti-gun. He funds a lot of these anti-gun groups. This guy's a real... Believe me, if he ever became president, which I doubt because even the Democrats hate him, he would take all your guns. We would have a police state over here. This guy would be a tyrant. I'm telling you right now. Like I said, yeah, he was for law and order over here, but not for guns so people could defend themselves when a cop's not around. You know what I'm saying? This guy even put Plexico Burris in jail for, he got a 3-year sentence. He got out a little sooner. I don't know if you know, show you what kind of punk Bloomberg is. Plexico Burris, a player for the Giants, he had a legal gun permit from Jersey, and he crossed over into New York, and he had his gun on him because the guy wants to protect himself. Now, you know, if he would have used that gun in a crime, sure, you lock him up. But what happened? He went to a club, and by accident, a freaking moron, his gun went off and shot himself in the ass, and it grazed his ass. So he had to go to the hospital and report it, and because he got reported, Bloomberg heard about it, goes, oh, wait a minute, this guy was in my state with a gun? Meanwhile, again, it wasn't used in a crime, and it was a legal gun from Jersey, but of course they don't have reciprocity laws over here. So Bloomberg, man, he went after Plexico Burris hard. He goes, I'm going to make an example out of this guy.
Like as if he's a gangbanger.
Yeah. Yo, he didn't commit a crime against somebody innocent.
Yeah, no one got hurt except himself.
Yeah.
He shot his own
He shot himself
self
in the ass. And you know what? That hurt the Giants that year, too, because we were 12-4 that year.
Gone.
And, going into the playoffs, and then the first game got knocked out because we didn't have our star receiver. But the Giants Giants ownership are a bunch of cowards too, because they still were legally allowed to play him when that happened. You know what I mean? The court case wasn't done.
Right.
He could have played in the playoff series. But, now, again, if he would have used that gun or committed a crime against an innocent person, I wouldn't want him playing, and I would want him off the team and in jail. I totally agree 100%.
Totally.
But for what happened, folks, this is the truth, what I told you.
Right.
So, that's exactly what happened. And, man, he gave him, because Bloomberg passed 3-year minimum mandatory.
He did like 2 or 3 in prison.
Yeah,
right? Yeah.
And that ruined his career because you're in your prime and you take 3 years off. Plus, it was like towards the end of his prime.
Exactly.
He probably had 3-4 years left to begin with.
I mean, he played when he came back, but he was never quite the guy anymore.
Think about it.
He was okay.
Listen,
he was decent.
These athletes are like fine-tuned machines. So when you're used to getting hit all those years, and then and your timing and your skills, you're taking almost 3 years off. You're not going to be the same. Now, if he was 21 when he went in and came out at 24, yeah, okay. But he was a little older, and, those were like the best years of his life. So Bloomberg is a piece of crap. That's pretty much what I'm saying, folks. Okay?
Well, it's almost like he's a little less crazy than like the super far leftist, but he still just doesn't quite get over the hump. He just doesn't quite get over the hump, to make it to the sane side of the mountain.
Now, if he wasn't beholden to China, then you would say, well, at least he would also provide jobs, but okay, you're going to be like a robot. If you sneeze wrong, you're going to jail under him. Mm-hmm. So that's not good. I'm all for law and order, but not tyrannical law and order.
Yeah, it's like, why don't they just think to maybe educate people on why you shouldn't drink 2 liters of soda in one sitting instead of banning it like it's like everyone's 4 years old.
He made a law, folks, to decrease the size of the cups and the ounces that they...
Yeah.
Meanwhile, if someone still wants, they just buy another soda. Now what happens?
Now 2 times the plastic.
And that increases your cost because when you buy the larger you go, which folks, soda's bad. I barely drink it. I've drank some in my life, but I try to avoid it. But it is bad. But I know it's bad, and I don't drink too much of it. Oh, I don't need some little globalist pig, a little mini me over there, little Mikey Bloomberg, little Mikey. President Trump right away hit him off for little Mike. Plus, President Trump, he knows about all these corrupt politicians here because he's the man in New York. So, yeah. What, they have him as 5'8"?
I thought he was shorter. He's 5'8", like he's 5'8", like a lineman's 250 and not three bills. You know what I'm saying? He's
5'8". How about 4'8"?
I don't know about that. He's certified.
He's like 5'3", 5'4", which I'm not making fun of anyone for their height either. Listen, if he was just like President Trump, I don't care. I don't care how tall they are or how short. Because let me tell you, my father was 5'5". He knocked out some big dudes, man. He was a tough dude, my dad, at 5'5", man. He was tough. And Bruce Lee wasn't the biggest guy either. But Bloomberg's just a globalist prick. I don't care how tall he is. Although, since he is a prick, I'm going to abuse him about his height. How do you like that? You know what I mean?
Lollipop Guild in the house.
You know what I'm saying? If he was a good man, believe me, I was against, but I used to be the bully of the bullies. I used to protect everybody from the bullies. And I stuck up for everybody. I never abused anybody because of the way they looked. And I never accepted in my surrounding environment any type of bullying. And the bullies knew that, because then if they were trying to bully someone, they got to go through me. And you couldn't do that. A few of them tried and found out the hard way you couldn't do that. I'll leave it at that. But I always protected everybody, you know what I mean, who might not have been as strong, and So I'm like the anti-bully, you know what I mean? So don't think I'm going there with the height thing. It's just he's a globalist prick. So before I saw Brad Williams come on, what's up, Brad? Cindy, you still there from Tarpon Springs? Nice Greek community over there in Tarpon, huh? I heard it's nice. I've never been there. I don't know if you're still there.
Where's
Cindy.
Where's that?
Florida.
Oh, nice.
Nice Greek community. It's by Tampa.
Nicer there than here. Right
well,
now, I'm sure.
Yeah, but you know what's sad? Eventually I'd like to move. If things keep going the way they're going.
Shout out to the 60 degrees.
But guess what? Florida's too hot for me. No way.
Not in the winter.
I hate the heat. Yeah, well, that you got to be rich to be able to live there half the year and half the year somewhere else. What are you gonna do for work? If you have money, sure. That's why what I love. President Trump changed his residency to Florida. Yeah. You know why? Let me explain to all you something. I love President Trump. He's the man. He's, as you say on the street, he's a G. He's the boss. This guy is 20 steps ahead. You know what it is? These clowns, I'm telling you, the Democrats, that's why, they call their people useful idiots. You know that, folks. Because the people who believe the Democrats are freaking stupid. They're saying, oh, he didn't pay his taxes and he hasn't paid taxes. Wrong. First of all, anybody with any kind of common sense, the guy owns Trump Tower. You got to pay property tax in New York. You can't avoid paying property taxes. Yeah. Now, before he was president, he wasn't God. So the only person that could get away from taxes in New York or anywhere pretty much is God. Or if you're a Democrat. Where's Sharpton? Hey, Sharpton, where's your $4 million you owe? Yeah, I don't hear nobody talking about that, huh? Yo, why didn't the AG in New York, Letitia James, another low IQ garbage. She went after President Trump for nothing. Total political hit job from Cuomo. Letitia James.
And was involved in the whole Proud Boys nonsense too, overcharging those guys like crazy. Yep.
Which they should sue for. Their civil rights were violated. And I hope they could get a lawyer, bring it to the Supreme Court or something, and sue.
And to think, her last job was called public advocate.
Yeah.
You know.
And guess what? I wouldn't be surprised if Letitia is, if Cuomo is Letitia's Big Willie. Oh, you know what I'm talking about, Kamala? Ooh, Kamala, you got bent over good by Big Willie. That's how you got your whole career. Huh? Oh, yeah, really? No? Okay. So, what's it called? So I wouldn't be surprised if Letitia James is working her way up like Kamala did. I'm not accusing anyone, folks. Don't misquote me. I don't know for a fact. I haven't heard anything about that. Alleged. Although she is his lackey. I'll tell you that.
Oh,
she is his lackey.
Right.
He uses her for his political hit jobs. That's 100%. Now, again, is he saying, hey, Letitia, come here. Let me have the cigar. Let me have the cigar. You know, Clinton? Oh. You know, that wouldn't surprise me.
Throwback.
You know what I'm saying? So anyway, folks, you got to pay property taxes. You own a building. All the people he employs pay taxes. He paid his taxes. Now, again, it might be under Trump Corp. And, of course, they have their loopholes. Why shouldn't he use loopholes? Everyone else would. So, plus, let me tell you something about President Trump. That's why, listen, all the old school New Yorkers that I know love President Trump. Because they know how giving he was, how many good deeds. President Trump resurrected the city back in the 80s. The city was horrible under Democrat leadership, of course. It looked like the Wild West over here, garbage. Go watch Fort Apache, South Bronx from back in the day, the movie. You know.
What's it called?
Fort Apache.
Okay.
And that's about the South Bronx.
I'll check it out.
And meanwhile, a lot of New York was like that. And put it this way, my mother was a ballsy, tough, right-wing Jew from Brooklyn. And back in the days, she used to take me when I was young. We used to go to Times Square when it was rowdy over there. So
nothing but peep shows.
You know, well, no, you had nice movie theater.
Really?
Even then, right? Yeah, my mother was bringing me the peep shows. Bro.
No, I know none of that, but I'm saying Times Square in the 70s and 80s was like, wasn't it like the worst
place
in
you had a
New
lot
York?
of peep shows and you had low lives there, plenty. But it was also, they had nice movies. They had Tad Steaks, which I heard the last one is closing, and that's sad. I used to eat the Tad Steaks in Manhattan with my mom.
That's closing up.
Yeah,
soon,
man. See, man, they ruin everything, the Democrats, bro. They ruined Tad Steaks. They can't even do a business anymore in New York. Unbelievable.
I'm surprised they haven't outlawed medium rare.
I'm telling you. Know? And, you know, and you had Tower Records back then. I love my music, so I used to go to Tower Records.
Classic.
Buy, you know, new records that were out, you know. But, man, it was rowdy. And President Trump, he came in and he built Trump Tower. He invested in New York, took a big chance. And that was a snowball reaction. And then other people invested after him. Plus, he also helped the Wollman Rink, which a city couldn't even do. The big skating rink in Manhattan by Rockefeller Center.
One, yeah. Mm-hmm.
He did that. That brought so much tourism and business over here. President Trump, I think, did more for New York than anybody I could think of. And he was never a politician here. You know, like I said, my neighbor worked for him for 10 years. She said what a great man he was. He paid women equally before anybody else did. He promoted women equally. And you know what? Because right now, you know, I'm going to defend my president because I know a lot of things about him. Because my neighbor worked for him for 10 years. She knows him better. All these people talk crap about him. They don't know nothing about him. Okay? So, and my neighbor said, and she's a nice lady, my neighbor. Very sweet lady. Old school Jewish lady, too. Sweet. And meanwhile, she was more of a liberal back in the days. But the way they're treating, she's a rapid Trump supporter because she knows the guy. And he helped her support a family. So, and she said, the biggest thing that they say, which is a lie, is that he, like, sexually harassed women. She said, that's garbage. Because let me tell you, Bev you're still a looker, Bev. And Bev was a looker even back in the day. And she said she saw he never, ever hit on women, never acted inappropriately, totally professional. Certain women would actually hit on him and flirt with him, you know? And he always thwarted those advances because he remained professional. So that's the truth about President Trump from somebody who knows him. And the people who really know him, listen, do you remember there was a video out there, and I only saw it on the internet. Nobody, of course, the fake news ain't going to show this. There's a woman who used to be like the mother of all, like when, President Trump did the beauty pageant. He had a woman that was in charge of the girls, like their house mom. And she said, that all those girls that they dealt with, they all said what kind of nice man President Trump was. None of those girls ever she said they confided in me more than they did their own mothers. And they would have told me if President Trump would have ever acted inappropriately with them. Mm-hmm. And he never did. And this woman said it. Now think about this, Enem. Those women that accuse President Trump, who are Democrat operatives, they're disgusting old hags.
Oh, yeah.
Meanwhile, these were beautiful young girls in the beauty pageants, and President Trump never bothered them.
Oh, yeah, never. Okay. They never had one untoward thing said. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Even now, even with all the crazy shit coming out, no one's coming out saying he did anything to any of them.
Exactly.
Even if there was going to be someone
that's
making
all
a fake
Democrat freaking political hit job because they're scum. They're leftist, Bolshevik scum. They're disgusting, the Democrats. They smear, they lie. I hope they're held accountable. I hope President Trump holds them accountable. Share this, folks. Let's get the truth out there about our president. We have to support him. I'm ready to go for him. All it takes, you know what, I'll give it. The left, you have Soros, Bloomberg, Steyer, all these big funders, big tech. They're funding the left. They have their little... That's why the left stopped putting people in insane asylums away, because they knew they need protesters on the streets. That's what these people are, psychos. They're all nuts. And criminals that they give pardons, they work deals with them. They make plea deals like, all right, you're a criminal. Because if you notice, some of these protesters, they look like total crackheads and meth addicts. So this is what happens. They catch them, they lock them up. The establishment comes in and says, hey, you protest the march for us. We're going to let you go. And that's what happens. But you know what? The left has all these protest organizers. They have all these organizations, all these NGOs. But you know what? I'm gonna say, because they got big money behind them. Mm-hmm. I'm gonna say this as clearly as I can and as nice as I can. All it would take is one emergency text from President Trump to all of us. We're not as organized, but we're strong, we're tough, and ready to go. That's all I'm gonna leave it at. President Trump, if you're out there, people, you know what? Tag President Trump. I want him to see this so he knows. This is a message to President Trump. President Trump, there's millions of us. You're our commander-in-chief. Ready to go. Let us know. That's all you got to do. You're our commander-in-chief. You got to direct us. We can't do anything unilaterally and on our own. An emergency text. Maybe say, I'm going to do a State of the Union, speech or something like that. And just tell us what to do, President Trump. Okay? Because enough's enough with these freaking dirtbags. Let me tell you, folks, it's not a joke. And I'm not joking. Our country's at stake. If the Democrats ever took full power, we're done. I'm telling you, they would rig the votes so you'll never be able to elect anybody like President Trump again. I see the way they do election fraud in all these Democrat strongholds. It's all election fraud. Man, these people, bad. They're like roaches. They're like an infestation of roaches. Once they get in, it's hard to get them out because they're so entrenched because there's a lot of dirty money behind there. So... that's all I'm saying.
And deeply embedded, too.
Well, listen, these are the commies. And you know what? A lot of old-timers who know their stuff, because I get info from a lot of people. You know what they tell me?
What's that?
After World War II, the commies infiltrated us bad, man.
Oh, yeah. That's their whole game plan.
Yeah. And, there's, think about it, folks. Okay. Am I being wrong by saying, think about this. John Brennan, the ultra-deep state scumbag, he was a member of the American Communist Party back in the days. In the middle of, folks, in the heart of the Cold War, he was a member of the Communist Party. He voted for a communist candidate in 1976. This is all fact. 1980, he gets accepted into the CIA as an analyst. Let me tell you something.
That's a quick turnaround.
I got a lot of friends in law enforcement. When they first applied to be law enforcement, their whole lives were searched up and down. They went to their houses, their neighbors, talked to people. Their whole backgrounds were checked. So this guy got into the CIA after being a commie. That shows you who's running the CIA. I mean, you know, and there's been a lot of things where commies have ratted out our agents in the past, and a lot of them got killed. In other words, back during the Cold War, there was internal CIA agents who actually gave info on our agents that were abroad.
In the field.
In the field.
That's crazy.
And they got killed.
You can't do shit.
Yeah, but they were doing it, okay? So, and the FBI too, full of commies. You know, the old timers told me names of these people who I never heard of. Like this one FBI agent got caught. He was working with the commies, you know. Big,
oh, yeah.
Okay.
And not like on some undercover, ironic, like we're infiltrating them shit, like really legit doing it. I mean, Mitza here on Facebook even commented commies infiltrated our colleges too, and it's very true, unfortunately.
Mr. Galush commented, commies infiltrated our colleges too, sure.
Yeah, the whole system.
The whole system.
Except for Chicago, apparently.
And I'm going to, yeah, okay, Chicago.
No, the University of Chicago is badass. They're like, we don't fuck with that little nonsense victimhood shit here. Yeah, University of Chicago still holds it down.
Yeah, but the public schools in Chicago, come on.
Oh no, I'm just talking about I'm talking about the one
college
specific university.
Yeah, one. Yeah, okay. What about Northwestern? It's pretty liberal.
Oh
there.
Yeah, no, quite so.
Okay.
Some schools now are so left they're banning clapping because
it might offend
you
people.
Have to do jazz
was
hands.
it Oxford?
Jazz hands.
Was it Oxford?
I don't even. It can't be Oxford.
I think it was.
No, it's got to at least be American.
No.
Although the UK is just as bad as us now.
I think, dude, you know what? Maybe search that. Oxford bans clapping.
Let's see.
Dude, I think it's Oxford. I'm telling you.
You have a good memory, so
yeah.
Because I remember the article, but I'm not sure where it was.
There you go.
Wow. Like the University of Oxford. Let's see. Let's get the.
I'm telling you, bro.
Oxford University Student Union is replacing clapping with jazz hands.
Go.
I think that's at least just the student union, and that's bad enough. But imagine if the whole school does. I think some school recently did the whole school. It's crazy.
Dude, these people are sick.
Inclusive environment.
People, look at this. According to the Oxford student, noises like whooping and clapping are argued to present an access issue for some disabled students who have anxiety disorders,
what's that?
Sensory sensitivity, and or those who use hearing impairment. Okay.
What's that, like 1 in every 300 people? That's like
yo,
you get a room. You could get a room with 1,000 people in it, and I bet there's like 3 people who who are described as that. You know.
I'm telling you.
Sorry guys, I can't handle the clapping, but I need to go into the real world after this, and I'm totally not going to fall on my face. Don't worry. But don't clap though. I can't handle it. I have a nervous breakdown.
These people are sick in the head.
Oh my Lord.
Hey everybody on Periscope, what's going on? I just clicked on Periscope. Anybody out there? Write a comment. What's going on?
We do appreciate
Tracy,
the comments, guys.
Tracy, what's going on? How are you? I gotta spread. Jana, what's going on? How are you? Yeah, I don't want to neglect my Periscope people either. I love all you guys. You people are great. You're true patriots. That's why I want our country to survive, because I want all you people to have great lives and your families, your kids. President Trump is securing the future for your children. That's what I don't understand. Who in their right mind, but that's the key word, right mind, would be against President Trump? Don't you want your kids to be safe? Don't you want your kids to have a future, jobs? The Democrats would destroy the jobs. Crime would be rampant. You know, your kids will be in danger. Who would want this? I live in a Democrat stronghold. I know this. I see this my whole life. Can't argue with me. A lot of these lip turds, they grow up in nice areas and they think the grass is greener on the other side.
Yeah, they don't see the real deal.
You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah. I mean, like, you've actually been
Canadian West joint. It's funny, the tag Canadian West. I heard, Western Canada is pretty much conservative.
Oh, yeah, totally.
It's just Toronto and some other area.
Like Alberta's all oil fields.
You know what it is, though?
Again,
I know patriots in Toronto. You know what it is with the big cities in them?
What's that?
The left, okay? Let's call them the left and globalists because they work together.
Sure.
You know, the big cities is where a lot of money is, this and that, and it's so many people, it's easier for them to commit, like, election and voter fraud in those places. You know what I mean? And it's worth it for them because there's so many people there. So it's harder to keep track. And they've really taken over these places. And, it's sad because it's ironic. The left is anti-business. The left is anti-capitalism.
I feel like they're anti-anything
They're
good.
anti-anything good.
They're pro-misery.
Actually, that's what... No,
they're like, we're miserable. We need you to be
I'm going
too.
to be honest.
That's what it seems
the
like.
left is pure evil. Look at what they've done. Seriously. They've killed more people by far
Drag queens
throughout all the
hour.
years than the Nazis did.
Famines,
They're worse than the Nazis. The Nazis were bad. These people are worse.
Yeah.
The Nazis were actually created to fight the commies.
Yeah, really. That's pretty much what that was. That's what came out of.
Because the commies were taking over Germany, and then the Nazi group formed to counter them, and then we know how that worked out. So it's like and you know what I think? Think about this, Enem. George Soros has admitted on film to working with the Nazis back in the days, helping them to. I think, wasn't it a 60 Minutes video? I mean,
I don't remember
people
who did
deny
it, but it was a
it.
legit video.
Like I was talking to one guy one day who was a little bit of a leftist.
Like it's not speculation.
But I told him, and this guy was Jewish, and I said, yo, my man, your whole side is financed by a Nazi. He goes, what do you mean? I go, Soros. He goes, oh, some people in my family told me that too, but is that true? I go, yeah, it's true. It's on video, bro. I'm like, yo.
Is.
And I explained to him, and his jaw dropped. This guy looked like his head was going to explode. This guy was like in his 50s. A Democrat, not really. I'm not going to say the guy's a leftist. He's a liberal. He's actually classic liberal, which a lot of them meant well.
Sure.
But at least he listened. When I told him about Soros, that he finances all these left-wing groups, he's like, and I go, he goes, oh, but he's Jewish. And I was like, he's as Jewish as I'm Chinese. These people, you might be born, listen, folks, a leftist or a globalist has no religion. They don't care. They use, isn't this the video? You found it.
I found it here, yeah.
Look at this. Folks, these people, any Democrat out there, your whole side is financed by a freaking Nazi. And you know what it is? He was like 14, and they try to say, well, he was young then, But he doesn't regret it. They asked him in the video, do you regret doing that? He goes, oh, no. Those were the good times in my life. And he was smiling. Yo, folks, show the video, please.
Yeah, let's roll this. Ready?
Folks, here you go.
I think there's some subtitles.
This is the guy who finances the Democrats, the left, the rhinos. And this guy was a Nazi. I'm telling you, I think the Nazis and commies have joined, and that's the new left now. Because Nazis were kind of leftists. They were called National Socialists. They're socialists, too.
A Hungarian Jew who escaped the Holocaust by posing as a
Folks, look
Christian.
at this. This is reality.
And you watched lots of people get shipped off to the death camps.
Right. I was 14 years old. And I would say that that's when my character was made.
In what way?
He's so
That
definitive.
one should think ahead, one should understand and anticipate
look at this evil. That's
events.
pure evil right there.
And
Archdemon right there.
One is threatened. It was a tremendous threat.
He's
of
discussing it
evil.
like it's
I
a
mean,
chess
it was
move, like it was
a
merely
very
a chess
personal
move.
Listen
experience
to what
of
this
evil.
guy. Have you ever seen
My
this video?
understanding is that you went out with this protector of yours who swore
I hope you're all watching this. Share this,
his
folks. Share
adopted
this.
godson.
The Democrats, the left, they're
Went
all
out, in
backed by
fact,
this
and helped
piece
in
of
the
shit
confiscation
Nazi.
of property from the Jews.
That's right.
I mean, that sounds
That's why
like
the
an
left are the
experience
Nazis.
that would send lots of people to the
This guy knows
psychiatric
exactly
couch
how the Nazis
for
operate.
many, many years. Was it difficult?
Look.
Not at all. Not at all.
It wasn't difficult at
Maybe
all.
as a
He's
child,
smiling.
you don't see the connection.
Look at him. You
but
stupid,
it was-
useful
it
idiots. This is
created
your leader.
No problem.
We got Trump, and they
feeling
got
of
this
guilt.
piece of shit.
No.
This
For
is
example,
the opposite of
that,
Trump. He's the one
I'm
against
Jewish,
President Trump.
and here I am watching these people go. I could just as easily be there. I should be there. None of that.
Well, of course, I could.
And the interviewer is
I
trying to
could
give
be
him
on the
every
other
reason to
side,
have
or
an
I
out
could be
and to
the
sound
one from
reasonable.
Thank you.
He refuses to
I
take the bait.
look at the interviewer's face. He looks perplexed.
He's like, "Are you sure? Just even when you
But
could have had a moment of contrition, you didn't." He's
There
like,
was
"No,
no sense
no, I
that
just."
I shouldn't be there. because
Like I said, we got President Trump, and this is who the left has. This is who's financing all these protests against President Trump
Well,
and the global
funny way,
invasion with these
it's just like in
refugees and all that.
markets,
This is the
that
punk behind it.
If I weren't there,
He's behind the UN, too.
of course I wasn't doing it, but somebody else would be taking
And
it
there's
away
an important
anyhow.
phrase. He
In other
says if
words,
it wasn't him,
whether I
someone
was
else
there
would be
or
doing it
not,
anyway.
I was only a spectator. The property was being taken away.
Ultimate
I
lack
had
of
no
accountability.
role in taking away that property. So I had no sense of guilt.
He had no sense of guilt because if he wasn't doing it, someone else would have been doing it, and that makes it totally okay. Imagine if the whole world thought that way.
Yeah. That's the Sousa.
Imagine
big
if
line.
the whole world thought that way, how bad this would be of a world we live in.
I'm
Imagine
telling
that.
well, a lot of the leaders feel that way.
It's craziness.
A lot of now you know why we had world wars and all the crap that's going on, right?
It's
so, folks.
Uncanny.
Hey, Democrats. Hey, useful idiots. Hey, 20-year-old millennials that are chanting, bad things about President Trump. That's who your leader is. Freaking Nazi collaborator.
Actually, luckily, a lot of the really younger kids, there's a decent amount of like Zoomers and conservatives amongst the really younger. It's the guys that are like 25,
I said the left. I said
no.
Yeah. I'm not saying, listen, every age group has their good and bad.
It's like there's hope yet.
I'm not saying, there is hope.
Yeah.
But, I'm saying like more than not.
Oh, yeah. There's so many like college
now,
kids
another thing,
that are brainwashed.
Adam, could I ask you a question?
Sure thing.
When you were young, didn't your parents, because I've met your parents, they're very sweet people and good people.
Thank you.
Now, they taught you the right way, I would assume, no?
Yeah, most ways, I think, yeah.
Would anybody have been able to indoctrinate you against what your parents have said?
No, not against almost any of
Exactly.
it. Maybe a few tiny things, but most of it, not at all.
Okay. Mm-hmm. So, folks, it's up to you. You teach your kids. All my friends that are conservatives, they're Trump supporters, they're teaching their kids the right way. And it's sad because some of them tell me in the schools around here, you have certain teachers, not all of them, they badmouth President Trump all the time. They're like brainwashing these kids to hate President Trump. And they're saying very anti-white things about whites, and that includes some white teachers also.
They're putting in the quizzes.
Yeah.
It's like right in the
They're
quiz.
calling whites bad. Meanwhile, why does everybody flock to white majority countries and they have better lives? You know how many people I know here who aren't white, who came here, did the right thing, worked hard, and they've had very successful lives here.
Yeah.
And they're not white. And you know what they always say? What is this crap about them teaching our kids that whites are so bad? Whites have been our best allies in this country since we got here. The whites have helped us more than anybody. And these are non-whites. I wish I had them all on video. But I don't want to, put their face out there because I don't want any attention drawn to them. But, but it is the truth. Facts are facts, okay? So, like I said, anybody that thinks whites are so bad, you can move to a non-white country and you see how you like it there, okay? Yeah, you won't be treated too good. Okay.
Yeah, it's funny. White privilege is only white privilege in America. It doesn't exist in Pakistan or somewhere else.
But you know what? If white privilege did exist here, why'd Elizabeth Warren lie about being American, Native American?
Exactly.
And wait a minute. Did you ever get your white check, Adam? I don't get a white check every month.
I didn't catch mine.
I've had to risk my life back in the days being a bouncer in New York at some of the worst violent clubs to make a living here. I never got no freaking check because I was white. Get out of here with this crap.
Oh, wait, you didn't grow up in the country club?
No,
no. You must have didn't get the email.
No, I'm sorry. But you know what's funny, Adam? A lot of the leftist libturds, the useful idiots that are against President Trump and they're pro-left, those are people of privilege. See, I don't like the term white privilege. I'll tell you why.
Right.
Because let me ask you, Jay-Z, he's worth $1 billion and Beyonce's worth almost that, right?
Yeah.
They have, I think, one kid or whatever, okay?
Sure.
Meanwhile, he's a piece of crap, Jay-Z, anyway. But anyway.
Yeah.
But that's not my point. My point is,
got a little guy.
Doesn't his kid, isn't it going to grow up rich?
Yeah.
And privileged?
Insanely.
The kid's not white.
Right.
all these other very wealthy, I'm telling you, folks, I didn't do any studies on this, but if somebody does, it's going to just destroy the whole narrative.
But they did.
How many successful African Americans do you have in this country? I guarantee you, there's a lot more successful African Americans in this country than there is in all of Africa. I'll guarantee you. Because a regular African doesn't have much of a chance in Africa. Only the leadership, the establishment.
Right, the people that are already kind of settled in, yeah.
The people in power.
Right, yeah.
They live good
and
in
a lot
Africa.
Of them are super corrupt over there, like super
Dude,
corrupt.
we send them aid, they think that people get a freaking dollar of
they
it.
don't even pass it to the needy people.
So now my theory is, per capita, I'll guarantee you African Americans are the most successful in this country than they are anywhere in the world. By far. Okay? You think if Jay-Z would have just grown up a poor kid like he grew up here in Africa, he would have ended up with $1 billion? No. You know any successful rappers that come out of Africa that have made $1 billion? I haven't heard of any.
Maybe Akon. I think Akon has.
But where'd he make his money? In the West.
But not in rap. He made it in like investing in energy or something. Like it's crazy.
No, but also he was a great singer.
Yes.
Well, he's from Senegal, I think.
Right, but he made it over here, right?
But he made it over here.
Right,
His song was popular here in the West.
Yes, he did make his money in America and the UK. Yeah, exactly.
So
yeah, good point. Yeah, exactly. He did his thing here. They do.
Jonathan Stanley just said, "Good morning from Canada, Uncle Tony." thoughts on Don Cherry firing, if you were aware.
That's a bad one. Do you know about that?
Dude, I didn't get a chance.
Right?
No, I didn't get a chance to catch up today on a lot of things because I was trying to get here for the show and all that.
I'll fill you in briefly. Give me your thoughts, because I know you'll have a feeling on this. Don Cherry is an 85-year-old hockey commentator, former ex-NFL coach, so he knows his stuff. He's one of those guys that's an expert. Worked for, I forget which TV channel, doesn't matter. And he went on, and they have a thing. You know how we sell poppies over here, the fake poppies for Veterans Day and Memorial Day? They do the same thing in Canada.
And in England.
Exactly. Yeah. So he was saying that he didn't say it in this way. It was more direct, but that, like, immigrants in the big cities need to appreciate, the veterans and the sacrifice. You guys like our milk and honey, but you got to respect who, paid to get that for you, and something to that effect.
Yeah.
And they just fired his ass wholesale.
You got to be kidding me.
They fired his ass 2 days later, like it was like he was.
You got to be kidding me.
Like he dropped an N-bomb on TV or something. It's like
you got to be kidding me.
He said nothing terrible. He said nothing hateful. He just said that basically people should. He basically said people that come to their country, Canada, should be wearing those poppies and respecting the sacrifice, yada yada.
And he's 100% right.
Right, exactly. And since he got fired, no apology, won't back down, stands by his word.
Oh,
God
great.
love him.
Well, how old is he?
85.
He's made his money. He's done his thing. So
yeah.
Plus
85. That's the generation where they didn't take that shit. They didn't just go, oh my God, I'm so sorry. Oh.
And you know what? He's right 100%. And listen, he didn't say all of them don't. They don't agree, because I know a lot of immigrants here who appreciate our military also.
Right.
But the ones that don't, they should, because you wouldn't be here if it wasn't for them. Because if the Nazis or the commies or any of these people would have won, you'd have nothing.
Yeah. We had to get so many things right for our way of life to be what it is now. You know what I mean?
That brings me to another point. Because like I said, and I'm getting here, he got delayed on the trains every time. I'm telling you, these trains, don't vote down.
It's really funny. It's bad.
It's bad.
Yeah.
But anyway, by the way, happy Veterans Day.
Absolutely.
Yesterday, beautiful day, Veterans Day. I thank all of our veterans for their service, their brave service and sacrifice to our great, beautiful nation. That's the reason we have a country, is because of our veterans. So, again, happy Veterans Day. I know I have a lot of veteran friends. You people are great. It was a great story. I'll just say this really quick. It's for Veterans Day. Because I watched the Veterans Parade at home, because getting into the city with the trains, I was like, oh, man, I don't want to get it there. Plus, I wasn't sure what time President Trump was going to talk and where he was going to talk. So if I knew, I said, I'll watch it on TV. So I went out to get something to eat before the parade and get a coffee and go home and watch the beautiful Veterans Parade, New York City Veterans Parade, beautiful sight. And, I happen to see, I've seen this car in my neighborhood, and it's a 41 Buick. I forgot which one. Beautiful car, 1941. I always see it. I'm like, wow, man, this is history. Parked on the street. You don't see that too many of those around here.
No.
So, wow, what happened? My Uncle Tony. Okay, I got thrown off my feet here to see your comments. That's a little weird. I'm telling you, they're messing around, these people. Anyway.
So you're talking about the classic car.
So I finally saw the owner of it. He was doing work on it. I'm like, oh, man, this is your car? He goes, yeah. And then next to him, what do I see? 101st Airborne veteran.
Nice.
And that's on Veterans Day.
Mm-hmm.
So that was a nice thing. So I saw him. I didn't know this guy, of course. So I said, oh, thank you so much for your service. God bless. He's like, thank you. I'm like, oh, you're going to go to the parade? Are you going to watch it? He goes, I've been to so many of those parades. And, that really made my morning, that I got to say thank you to a vet. And you know what? I didn't even ask what war or what, if he was in a war. But he might have been around the Vietnam era. That's what he looked like. Because, they're working on the car. I didn't want to bother him too much. So he even said that President Trump has done so much for our veterans. And he's so happy about President Trump. And you know what, folks? I love a lot of accomplishment. Listen, President Trump has accomplished a lot. He's getting results, real, tangible results. Lowest unemployment rate in 51 years, lowest African unemployment rate ever, lowest Latino unemployment rate ever.
I mean,
lowest unemployment rate
twice my life. That's forever. That's a long time.
Okay.
Yeah.
He's benefiting millions and millions of hardworking Americans. Okay, but you know what? My number one favorite result though is what he's doing for our veterans. He had the VA Accountability Act, the VA Mission Act. Think about it. Remember under Obama, that dirtbag, when you had the VA scandal? Our veterans were dying, waiting for care. They were treating our veterans horribly. I don't know how the veterans just didn't organize and take care of business themselves, but anyway. Nobody did anything about it. Well, President Trump did that. It's been, I think, 4,000 people have been fired already from the VA.
Yeah, it was just
for
bad
how
management.
dare these people not take care of our veterans? That's your job, and you're not doing it, taking care of our veterans? I swear, there's certain things I can't say, but they deserve something.
Plus, it brings up a good point. Brings up a very valid point, which is our veterans, would you agree, are our most important people to take care of, right? Yes?
Yeah, obviously. We wouldn't have a country without them.
Exactly. Now, if we gave government control of all of our health care, and they can't
that would end up worse than that.
And they can't take care of the best people for us, what are they going to do to you and me?
Thank you. There you go, Enem. That's what I tell people. And you know what? To people that don't understand, universal health care, I said, you hear of the VA scandal? They're like, no. I mean, do your
Forget
research.
even the scandal, just the bad treatment, even just
the
bad
your regular
management,
useful idiot doesn't know about that.
That's a good point. Yeah,
and they don't care about our soldiers either.
They probably don't know any veterans. That's the thing. They probably don't have anyone in their family or anything that did.
Well, don't forget, the left hates our military.
Yeah, they think they're out there just murdering babies or something.
Yeah,
it's like, come on.
Yeah. So, what's it called? So, President Trump, not even that, he gave the Choice Act, where veterans, if they're not happy at the VA, they could go to a regular doctor, and the government picks up the bill.
Right.
So he's done so much. I think he even pardoned their college debt or something like that, too, for veterans, something like that. Meanwhile, the Democrats want to give illegals free medical care and free college and everything.
Just here in New York, just this week, they just okayed driver's licenses for undocumented. Like,
now, let me ask you a question, Enem, and let me ask all you a question out there.
Come on.
Let me ask you a question. Folks, if someone is illegally here, who's going to insure them?
Yeah, right.
Now, that leaves a big problem, folks. What if then they don't have insurance?
People should know if you're not from New York, you need insurance in New York. It's not like California. You need it here. It's a law, right?
Yeah. And who's going to pay for your injuries if you get hit by one of these people if they don't have insurance?
I don't know, man.
That's why another thing, a problem is the leftist lawyers. Because if there was good lawyers on our side, enough of them, you know what lawsuits would destroy the Democrats? That would leave them broken, penniless, and it would ruin everybody. Anyone in this country who's been victimized in any way by someone here illegally, because the Democrats protect them.
Because of the policies,
Because of their policies, they should be personally sued by victims of those crimes. And again, if an illegal is driving and hits somebody, doesn't have insurance, his insurance companies aren't going to insure them, they should be able to sue whoever signed the bill allowing illegals to have driver's licenses. They should be sued personally for every freaking thing they have.
Yeah.
But again, these politicians are lawyers. We know how the inside cliques work. So I don't know what it's going to take, folks. I'll be honest. President Trump, I hope he has a trick up his sleeve. I think he does. Remember Kofifi?
That's what he's best at. I mean, he's best at that. A maneuver.
Honestly, these Democrats, they're a bunch of commies now. They're the enemies of the state. Everything they do is destructive to our country. There's nothing positive about anything they're saying. Another thing, Adam, let me ask you a question. They're talking about election interference, right? Mm-hmm. They're going out, these people, and campaigning on free, when nothing's free. Free healthcare, free college, free this. Okay.
They think a few billionaires get taxed 10% more,
and those billionaires. And you know what's going to happen, folks? You know what bothers me? All these Democrats, because I saw it in New York my whole life. They promise all these programs, right? Then they get elected. And guess what? The really wealthy that they said they were going to go out, they use people's jealousy against them. They figure people are jealous of people who are very wealthy. So they'll say, yeah, let's get the rich people. Let's say that's a Bolshevik tactic. That's what the Bolsheviks did to the czars.
Exactly.
And then how did communism work out after that? After the Bolsheviks got rid of the czars, it didn't work out too well.
I think it went good for about 3 years. Then it went bad for about 45 years, 60 years.
About 100 years almost.
No, so I think it went good for about a year, and then for the next 70 it went down. Yeah,
it's still going on because China's communist.
That's true. Yeah, the Maoists. Yeah.
Okay, so the bottom line is that these people are a destructive force to our country, and that's it. And President Trump, listen, I know a lot of vets who love President Trump, and most of our military does, and most of our vets. They swore an oath to defend this country from enemies foreign and domestic.
And domestic.
That might have to be used. I'll just leave it at that. I don't want to say too much. Because, listen, those veterans and our military, they have wives and kids and mothers and fathers and families. And they want them to have a safe and prosperous country. So think about it. If the Democrats ever got full power again, there go your guns. So now our veterans won't be able to arm themselves to protect their families. So you want to go, fighting for freedom in other countries for us, which is good because we have to be somewhere. And then they come back and they can't even protect their own families with guns over here? What kind of crap is that? And what about their kids? Don't they want their kids to have jobs in the future? And, have good health care?
And some of the countries that they try to point to in Europe and say they're the model for what we want to do, like say Switzerland.
Yeah,
every person has a gun.
Thank you.
Every man, woman,
and very strict immigration.
Well, not child, but,
and very strict in Switzerland. Very strict immigration laws. And everyone has a gun.
They say you don't want to swim in the same pool as the boys. You go home. That's how it works.
Thank you.
Yeah. They don't play.
Meanwhile, Sweden's the opposite, and look at Sweden now. Yeah. Okay.
Now there's a car grenade bombing every 2 days or some shit like that.
Meanwhile, that little demon child, Greta Thunberg, let her go fix her country. What's going on there first? Stop going around. Why are they even letting this kid in here? She's being used.
The poor girl.
She's being used.
Yeah.
But her parents are the hardcore leftists.
They're Antifa.
Yeah.
They have Antifa t-shirts.
So I don't know how good she is either.
Well, I mean, she's 16, so who knows what? But she's autistic.
Yeah,
and she has another thing
not
too.
Autistic.
She has Asperger's.
Asperger's.
Right, but that's on the spectrum, and then
and of
course,
course,
she has
I am
other
not.
Things too.
I would never even attempt to insult her for that or nothing. Never. No,
that's why she's being abused, though. It's like.
Yeah, but you know what? Of course, it's her policies that I don't like only, and has nothing to do with her disabilities. Because God bless anyone with that problem. I wish I could cure everybody, even her. Even though I can agree with the policy, I wish her, health.
Oh, yeah. I don't think anyone wishes her any ill.
Yeah, but you know what? Again, they have her as a propaganda machine.
They're making her a
using
poster
her,
child.
Yeah. And, she went to North Carolina, even out of all places, a few days ago and, stirred up the kids over there. Mm-hmm. They're scaring, first of all, I think everyone with this whole climate change stuff, that's scaring the kids specifically, telling them the world's going to end, should be arrested for child abuse.
They're also making people not want to have kids. They think the world's going to blow up like a volcano eruption.
No, but good.
It's crazy.
Good. No. And that's a good thing.
Americans need to have children.
No. They're not the ones that believe the climate change shit. They're leftists. They're useful idiots. The ones that believe this and aren't having kids are useful idiots. I don't want their kids.
That's fair. But we got to keep replacement rate up, though.
No, you know
but
what?
I know what you're saying.
Conservatives. You know what? If jobs are great and the economy is great in this country and taxes are low, then conservatives, people on our side could have 5 kids.
Yeah, like they used to.
Yeah. But you know what it is?
One income.
But our people don't have too many kids anymore.
No.
Because pay high taxes, cost of living's up.
And they pay for their
kids.
And
meanwhile, you have people coming in from other countries over here who aren't even legal having 5 kids. Yeah. And they're fed and supported.
It's funny.
And we have to pay more taxes.
Yeah, when you pay for your own kids, you don't have as many of them, I guess, right? Funny how that works. It's like, wow.
So...
Speaking of people who don't want to pay for things, have you seen this de Blasio thing that came up? This is great. It came up last week.
Now, folks, check out what these Bolsheviks look at this freaking dirtbag de Blasio. They released 900 criminals, some who are very violent.
From Rikers, right?
Now, if it was only low-level marijuana offenses, that's fine, but they don't arrest you for marijuana in New York no more. So what are they arrested for? See? You don't get arrested in New York for marijuana anymore.
Right, so what's low level now?
Before it was the excuse that so many people were arrested for nonviolent, personal marijuana use, smoking a joint on the street. You should not be arrested for that. I totally agree. But anything else besides that is a crime.
Right.
And these are some violent criminals. You know what I would love? I'd love de Blasio to spend a few months in Rikers with these criminals. With no protection, though.
A few months. Why not a couple of years? Screw it.
A few months.
Decade.
A few months. Believe me. I don't even know if he'd survive a few months.
Sorry.
With no protection. In other words, not because he's the mayor. Go in there like any regular person.
Dude, his name is Warren Wilhelm.
Exactly. He's a fraud. They're all fraud. Well, Obama was Barry Sotomayor.
Exactly, yeah.
Okay?
It's like...
They're all frauds.
They say, believe me, trust me, but here's my fake name.
But anyway... So I think him and his wife and his children would have to spend a few months locked with these savages and see how nice they are. And then you want to release them back on the street. But, he's protected by his armed detail. His kids don't hang out on the streets with everybody else.
And even his armed detail hates him.
Yeah, but
even they want to
Isn't
kill
that
him.
ironic, Adam? That the same cops that he hates, who he puts in danger, have to protect them. That's sad.
He made the cops drive his son to Connecticut.
That's sad.
His son goes to school in Connecticut.
Yeah.
And
why doesn't he go to a public school here in the Bronx?
Now here's the thing.
Why don't he go to a public school in the Bronx, his son?
Because those are the best ones in the country, right? Yeah. but so he made uniformed police, like patrolmen, put his son in the back of a car and drive them to Connecticut, and then come back. Like, come on, like they were a taxi service or something.
So this piece of garbage is now giving folks
a trained.
Are you still all there? I hope you're all there because you got to hear this. He's giving criminals Mets tickets, movie passes, and other perks. So maybe they'll come back to court.
So they show up for their bail appearance.
So no bail. So check this out, folks. Someone does a vicious crime. Maybe not murderers or rapists.
No, they don't get bail, but everyone else.
But
now.
assault, attempted murder.
Right.
So they, instead of going and having to post bail, they're getting free stuff.
They're letting them. Yeah, they get to leave without bail, and then if they come back for their court date, they get some, I don't know, Mets tickets.
If they come back, or they're given that before they come back.
No. That's if they come back. That's like a hey. But here's the funny part, which you mentioned about bail. One of the big Democrat platforms, especially here in New York City, is
do away with
no
bail.
more bail.
No more
because
bail.
They're like, oh, bail only hurts the poor. It's like, well, maybe they shouldn't commit armed robbery.
Don't commit a freaking crime.
Right. Like if you commit crime,
and you'll have no problem.
Like to get bail, it had to be a decent crime. It had to be a robbery, assault, something like that. It wasn't like you didn't get arrested for weed and get bail. So this guy, they're letting them go on their own recognizance. They say your court date is in 2 months, come back for it. And now they're saying if you come back for it, they're trying to incentivize them by giving, what's it say here? Mets games, then there's movie tickets.
Yeah.
And something else. Like, I'm like, come on.
I think like gift cards.
Like, I swear to Christ, it's like Pose World, Clown World.
This is bizarro, folks. Is there something wrong with me for thinking this is wrong? Or is this wrong? That's why, folks, share this, share. One thing I'm going to warn you, see.
Yeah, hit that share button, people. Look this one up.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
No, folks, let me give you something from my heart, okay? It's sad that the big cities have been allowed to have a bunch of filthy commies take control of them and run them to the ground. Hey, if we live good under them, I'd be okay with it, but we're not. Now, anyone in a red area, I'm telling you, no matter what you got to do, keep your area red. You got to get active in politics. If the left tries to come into your area, you got to treat them the way the left treats conservatives in their areas. Because if you're a Republican in certain areas and stuff, it ain't good. So, and the left, they attack Republicans. They'll fire you from your job. They'll, it's bad. So they should be treated that way in red areas.
It's a good point. You have to. They have to be focused. Like everyone's involved. Everyone matters.
And what people don't realize is that the Democrats, once they get in, again, they commit voter fraud, and it's hard to get them out.
Right, because it's easy to be incumbent and keep it in there.
So, folks, red areas, keep your place red. I'm telling you, whatever you got to do, because people that maybe live in those areas don't understand maybe that the grass isn't greener on the other side. They do. Well, listen, of course, President Trump wins the red area now. Like, listen, even in somewhere, in Kentucky, okay? You know about that election with Blevin and all that, okay?
Mm-hmm.
They found like 170,000 people that were registered to vote that shouldn't have been able to register to vote or something like that.
Been legit
and he lost by 50,000. There you go. Now, now you know where most of the votes came from a lot?
No.
Louisville and two other big cities.
Right, the big metropolitan areas.
I'm telling you, that's what they infiltrate.
Well, yeah.
So if you think about it,
it's hard
even
to audit
Kentucky,
those
which
too.
is red, they were harassing Mitch McConnell at his house. Remember that?
Yeah.
A few months ago? The poor guy had just had arm surgery.
Yes.
And you had these animals outside his house.
Well, that's their MO. They did the talker.
But in Kentucky, they're allowed to do that.
Right. It's one thing
in the red
DC.
area.
Right, it's one thing in D.C., but in Kentucky, that's insane.
Come on,
to pull that
man.
Off. By the way, shout out to Mitch McConnell and his entire team for leaning into the meme and making Cocaine Mitch T-shirts. That's freaking funny.
Let me tell you something.
I love it.
I didn't like Mitch McConnell before, obviously. And I still don't fully trust him, but he's been a warrior for President Trump, at least on the outside. The left hates him, which is good.
Right. Like
the left is really going after him, which means maybe he is one of the good guys.
Mm-hmm. Anyone they're trying to take down is usually who you want to be listening to. Yeah.
So, they went to his house, and not even that. Oh, I'm sorry, Enem. What bothers me, okay, you're allowed to protest. They were threatening him by his house.
Private property.
There was video.
Property, yeah.
There was video.
They said they should cut his head off.
Stab him in the heart.
Yeah, maybe we should stab him. It's like crazy.
Yeah. So, and they didn't get arrested for that?
Yeah, but even not just arrested, dispersed.
Arrested.
I agree that they should be arrested, but even if you're not going to arrest people, okay, but at least disperse them. You can't just let them just that's harassment of someone. By the way, the point you made before, I zoomed in on this comment here by Mitza because it speaks to the point you were making. I think she has an interesting theory there. It should be on your screen. Here, I'll put it up.
Yeah,
I'll put it up
I
so
totally
everyone can see this. It goes right into what he was talking about 5 minutes ago.
Yeah. Look at what Misda writes. Uncle Tony, I have a theory. These politicians are making California and New York the two most populous liberal states go to shit so that the libtards leave the state for low-tax red states while bringing their libtard voting habits with them in an attempt to flip a few key red states, making it almost impossible to win the White House again.
That's Virginia.
I totally agree. That's Virginia. No.
Isn't that what
but it's not the
Virginia?
libtard. Listen, yeah, that happened there, sure. But even in Virginia, you know what a lot of the articles were saying? It's because of mass immigration.
Right? Yeah.
Now, you know what else?
Oh, but not from other, you mean from other countries?
From other countries.
Not from us, okay.
Well, you know what happened then, Adam, right? You know what? It shows you that a lot of the rhinos, the fake Republicans, they've allowed this to happen under their watch. Think about it. Republicans run the red areas, right? Okay. Sure. How did they allow mass immigrants to just come in? Because you know what bothers me? Nothing against them, and I don't blame the immigrants for voting a certain way. The Democrats get them by the hand, and they say, we're going to feed you. And in other words, Enem, there's got to be something illegal. They're using our money because God doesn't give them the money. It's our money,
right?
Our tax money. Like, I'll give you an example. I think it was in Nebraska or Montana about 2 years ago it came out where you had these refugees that were being resettled somewhere there, which that's a red area. Why are you bringing refugees there? How are they allowed now?
Well, they try to say, oh, there's empty space so we can,
No.
That's their excuse.
Remember President Trump had said about the people, like, send them to California?
Yeah,
good.
Let them
you know what? Go to the lib areas.
He was saying to bus people in.
Yeah. No, I totally agree with him.
If he did that,
you know what?
the best.
Send everybody to the liberals want them. You could have them. And those places are already Democrat though, so they don't want that. They want them to go places to flip it. So then what happened?
Smart.
So now Enem, this was illegal. The Democrat Party of either Montana or Nebraska was, or maybe I think it was South Dakota. People had shown even videos of it. Where they had voter registration forms in gift baskets to give to these refugees.
Oh, man. Yeah.
And they were saying, we're the Democrats, we're the ones that are going to take care of you and feed you, and, you know. So I don't blame the migrants.
They probably pre-checked the Democrat box on the voter registration form before they even put that shit in the basket.
But the point is, they're not even citizens yet. They just came as refugees. They're not even citizens.
Forget citizens. They don't even have a work visa yet.
Thank you. And you're putting and you're giving them voter registration forms.
Well, that's the thing.
And that's in a red state.
Well, that's what I'm thinking about this whole thing with the driver's licenses here. Because I wondered the same thing with the New York State now with the driver's licenses. Like, hey, are they going? That's one more piece of documentation they could use to help get a voter ID of some kind. You know.
Thank you. You know? Enem, this is treasonous. Enem, bottom line is this, and folks, what the Dems are doing is treason. They're actually bringing in foreigners to take our place and to cancel out our vote. Now, again, if they brought in these people, brought them into the Democrat strongholds, okay, it wouldn't change anything anyway.
Right, at least you say, hey, you're being accountable, at least we get you.
But how do they allow this to happen in red areas? It's not, look, perfect example, look at Minnesota. Minnesota was built by hardworking, beautiful Americans, and then you bring in a bunch of Ilhan Omars. That's all I'm going to say. And again, I have nothing against her race, religion, and I don't care about that. It's a policy. She turned out to be, again, she's committed crimes, campaign finance, immigration fraud, marrying a brother. We all know she should have been in jail and deported.
And that's only the first half of the list.
Yeah.
Jesus.
So again, if she would have turned out to be a conservative and been on our side, I would have loved her. And I wish she was, and the whole Somalian community would have been nice. But, you know, so why is she here? And she's done egregious things that, like, you know, Enem, you know, you haven't been here your whole life in Astoria, but Astoria had a lot of Italian and Greek immigrants back in the days.
Right.
And even though they were legal citizens and got their either green card or they became citizens, if they committed one even minor crime, they were deported.
Right. It was the slightest thing. And back then you had to have a sponsor to come here, right?
You had to have a sponsor, and you got vetted. You got vetted. You got checked. And if you committed one crime, you were out of here. And those are for European immigrants. And again, I don't care what color you are. You commit a crime, you're out. So now this is being allowed. In other words, even